referred me to you and said, you've got to really grow, you've got to have a sales force and setters and things to pull yourself out of the business so you can focus on the creatives and doing what you love, which was the problem. I couldn't get past that point. So I hired you guys, and here we are. 3 months later, this is the biggest growth I've ever had.
Hell yeah, I love that. Today, we got Brandon Olson of Rank Daddy in the house. I'm really excited, Brandon, to kind of discuss everything. Your journey has been really, really fun so far to watch. And I know this is our first time connecting, but, you know, on the back end, I'm hearing everything. And like, it's been really cool to see. And even your sales rep, Michael, sent a message to our recruiting team. And they all like literally started crying, actually, because they were so inspired by like his journey as well and the growth that he's gone on over the last 90 days. So it's really cool to see on both ends, your growth as the business owner, and then Michael's growth as a setter who now is your lead sales rep. So it's just been a lot of fun to watch, and I'm excited to dive into your journey and break things down.
For sure. So my name is Brandon Olson. I run a company called Rank Daddy. We teach people with or without experience how to start and scale a digital marketing SEO agency very, very rapidly. We have a 12-week to $10,000 a month program. And we see members come in from all walks of life, 77 years old down to 15 years old, even with zero experience coming in, and they're able to follow the program and really find rapid success.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. One of the most interesting ones is guy's name's Peter, and he's an older gentleman and zero experience online. And by his 99th day, he posted and he's doing $13,400 a month. Now he's well over 200 grand a year, and just really exciting to see people winning with what we're giving them.
Yep. We know the feeling. So there's nothing like it, right? I mean, we get into business to accomplish oftentimes our personal goals in the beginning, but then the thing that becomes most rewarding for us is watching those client wins roll in like that. So, okay. So give us a little background on your journey. How did you even get into digital marketing in the first place?
Yeah. So I have owned several businesses. I've always just wanted to work for myself. I didn't like working for other people, answering to a clock, so that's seasonal. So in the off season, I'm trying to learn SEO and marketing to propel my business and get more traffic and more customers during the summers. So I owned that business for probably 5 years before I finally purchased enough trainings and enough courses, tens of thousands of dollars worth, and kind of put pieces together and built the system that is now known as trust-based ranking, where we can just rank any local website on demand and triple, quadruple, 10x company's revenues. So we brought that company from 200 grand a summer to 800 grand a summer. And then I was like, okay, I'm selling this and I'm just going to do this digital marketing stuff full time. So I built an agency. The process worked every single time. I started sharing it with people in other similar groups. They saw the same successes. So I was, at that point, my agency was kind of on autopilot with the systems I put in place. So I said, man, I'm just going to make a course out of this and see if I can and sell it and teach people how to do what I'm doing. And that was 5 years ago. So here we are.
Okay. Wow. So your course has been around for the past 5 years. When you first launched it, did you get help from anyone, or did you do it on your own, or what was that process?
It was on my own, and just kind of trying to reverse engineer successes that I saw other coaches in the space doing. Obviously, I didn't see any of the back end, so I struggled and stumbled. And at first, I launched it as a $4,000 course. Did that for about a year, and I just had so many people saying, "Hey, I want to do this. It's great, but I don't have $4 grand." So then I made the mistake of dropping it to a $200 a month membership program. Hundreds of people came in, but it was really a bummer because about 80 to 90% of the people just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
They weren't mentally in at a $200 price point. So you can let $200 software sit there and, I'll get to it next month or whatever. So about, I don't know, less than a year ago, actually, it was within 2020, I decided to go back to the high ticket model, $5,800. Found another coach and got into their mentorship program. They really helped me put pieces of the puzzle together and scale. I spent about 70 grand in training before I even met you guys, because I was stuck at 50 grand a month for the last 2 years. And then they referred me to you and said, you've got to really grow, you've got to have a sales force and setters and things to pull yourself out of the business so you can focus on the creatives and doing what you love instead of being stuck in sales, which was the problem. I couldn't get past that point. So I hired you guys, and here we are. 3 months later, this is the biggest growth I've ever had.
Hell yeah, I love that. And those guys, just for any listeners, so he was working with clients and community. Obviously, a lot of you guys know that we're good friends and we've worked with Jaden, Landon, Stapes, the whole crew. Obviously, we pretty much helped them build their stuff sales team wise. And it's been awesome to see, you come over and have similar results as well and really knock it out of the park. And so when you started working with them, was that right when you started getting back into the high ticket thing?
Yeah. That's when they convinced me and showed me the exact path on how to move to just, they wanted me to incrementally go up, but I'm like, I think what I have is worth more than 5,800. I'm going to start it at 5,800 and move up from there.
Yep.
So I did, and literally, okay, so I bought their course in September. I did 17 grand that month, only playing with it for a couple hours. Then I spent a little more time, did 65,000 the next month. Then I bought their mastermind and did 333 grand in November of 2020. Then I hired you guys shortly after that, and Salesforce in place, setters. And so now my number one sales guy, who started as a setter, is kind of leading everything. He's leading the setters. He does 150 grand or so a month by himself in revenue, and we just increased our price point to 7,800, on the way to 9,800. So continued scale. We're in scale mode for sure.
And I definitely want to dig in a little bit on talking about Michael, who is your number one sales rep right now. And I want to talk a little bit more about his experience and your guys' relationship and what made you trust him. But before we get into that exactly, so I think it's really fascinating. And this is something I told to the clients and community guys, because we just recently did a training with them for Scale, which is kind of their high-end mastermind. And they had us do a training on how to build sales teams. And one of the things I told those guys was that, more or less what we're seeing on our end, because we get plugged into a lot of really awesome marketing systems, right? And so we can pick up the data and start to see the trends a little bit faster than maybe some other folks do. But what we're really seeing is that the trends are that things are starting to move to conversational. They're starting to move to intimate, and they're starting to move to community. Like, those are really the three trends of strategy and marketing right now that are popping off. And I also think if you guys want to see some folks who do community really well, we're streaming on Ecamm, but Ecamm is like right now a freaking marketing case study of how to kill community. Like, they are just dominating how they run their Facebook group and everything that they've done. But we're starting to see this as a trend more and more. Like, the old model is not working as well. The VSL, the webinar, the kind of old Russ Ruffino, Sam Ovens model. Don't get me wrong, it still works, but it's not working as well as what we see guys like you are doing with the community and what you're doing with conversational. And I have some theories on it, why, but I just am curious to understand your perspective in implementing those strategies. What did you notice when you started to put in place more of that community, more of that conversational marketing style?
Yeah. So moving from webinar and VSL and all these things where you're building this and you're throwing it out there and you're watching, you're not getting instant feedback as if you're in Messenger and you've got little micro conversations going on, and you may just get some conversations and send them to a training or move them through your funnel. But because you have those instant data points, you can make changes on the fly and improve things so much faster than building out an entire webinar or VSL and throwing ad spend on it and just waiting. It's the real time, I think, for us that made the big difference, and having a model to follow to begin with, and kind of a support system in clients and community.
Makes sense. And I think, some things that partly why I think it's working so well is open rates, right? Open rates on Messenger and open rates on SMS compared to open rates on email are just a joke. Like, you'll get 4 or 5 times the number or percentage of people will open on Messenger or SMS. And so that conversational approach that's already built into the community function of Facebook's working really well. And another big thing is, like, obviously Facebook wants us to run groups. There's a reason that if I'm on YouTube, I get a Facebook ad and Facebook's advertising Facebook groups. So wherever Facebook's spending their personal ad dollars, then okay, that's what Facebook wants me to do. And groups are that function that they're really pushing. And so when you're aligning your strategy with Facebook's strategy, then you're going to be rewarded just out of sheer distribution and all the benefits that kind of come out of playing the game exactly the way that they want you to play that game. And so now the way you ended up doing it, we see sometimes people do a few different strategies, but one of the strategies that happens with clients and community folks is that they'll have someone come in, kind of play setter for a while, and then they'll really master or understand one part of the customer journey, and then that person will move into a closer role. Right. And so that's what we implemented.
I missed it.
Oh, you missed it? So I was mentioning that we implemented this strategy where what we did was we had someone come on board as a setter, set for a period of time, kind of acquire the skill of that first part of the customer journey, and then transition into closer. And so in that process, once you started onboarding, did you have any concerns, hesitations, or anything at all that kind of came up?
You guys gave me 6 to interview. I picked 4, and I kind of numbered them who I thought was going to be the best and have the most success in our agency, but it was based on the data that they provided and the experience that they said that they had on paper. My list was completely wrong. The other 3 didn't really pan out.
I haven't had one person say that they got it.
Michael was so reserved, like in his interview. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try him. He's got some, experience or whatever. He's closed a $20,000 offer, so he's on the list. But man, when he came in and he started advising and coaching the other 4 guys or 3 guys, I'm like, this guy's got something. And he's always in your daily, trainings, and just always looking for more education to improve himself without me having to tell him. He's a true professional. So I knew right away he was going to take off. And when he started throwing up the numbers he did, I'm like, dang, this dude.
That's awesome. There's a saying from Keith Cunningham. I don't know. Do you know who Keith Cunningham is?
I've heard the name, but not familiar.
So I love Keith Cunningham. He's kind of like an OG, but he's one of the guys who was an early mentor to Robert Kiyosaki and to Tony Robbins. And Keith Cunningham's a brilliant business person. But one time someone asked him, Keith, how do you motivate your team members? And his response was, I hire them. Right? Because you don't need to motivate an A player. Like, if you get someone who's right, they'll come in already asking, what else can I do? What else can I do? How can I get better? And they'll take advantage and plug into the trainings. They'll take advantage and really make it theirs and take control. So, and it's cool that you've been able to see Michael do exactly that. And it's hilarious because I have not had one person yet say that they're like, who they thought was the best. That doesn't happen very often. And most people, we're completely blown away.
I was blown away. I said, my order was flipped.
Yeah. No, that's normal. That's almost everybody. So it's super funny to hear. Yeah. It's crazy. what we think a salesperson is and what a salesperson actually is, there's definitely this big gap in our minds. And like, we think that the salesperson is the super talkative, extroverted, gregarious type of person. And oftentimes those people aren't even that good at sales. And we see a lot of times the people that are quieter in the interview process can be the person that ends up really taking it and rolling with it. And so it's time and time again we see that. And that's one of the things we tell people is like, look, we're putting 250 some odd reps on an offer and every month, and we can't do it. So if you think you can do it, like, then go ahead, be our guest, but we can't predict it, and we got that much data coming every single month. So it's pretty wild. And that's like, one of my friends said a saying, he said, you never know what someone's going to do until you see their hustle, right? You can hear them in the interview. They can give you all the good answers. They could look presentable, but it's about that day in, day out, showing up consistently, getting 1% better every day, being hungry. And that type of thing doesn't pop up in an interview. That only you start to see in the onboarding and that trial process that we put them on. Did you have any concerns about onboarding 4 people at once? Did that make you kind of like, I don't know about this, or what was your thought process there?
You know what? When you guys kind of gave me the outline of what to expect, and you emphasized how important the daily huddle is with these guys, that was the one thing I didn't want to do. I never wanted to do that. Like I built this business never working over 10 hours a week. I didn't want to get into something that was scheduled. I got to be there because that's what I got away from. I got away from the retail and having to be there for certain times, but I rolled with it. And it worked. Like that 20-minute call with them, touching base every day, celebrating their wins and seeing where they were hung up, and really being able to give them what I knew about what they could say when this came up. Because I've had every question. Nothing new is going to come up, but for them, everything's new. So for me to be there during that huddle, that was huge. So I'm glad I just like listened to you guys and committed to doing it.
Now have you transitioned out? So Michael's running the huddle and you're not in huddles anymore?
So I'm doing 2 or 3 huddles a week now. Michael's doing the rest, but he already knows he's in that place. And even if I'm running the huddle, he has brought something to the huddle to say, look, I want to cover this with you guys today. This is something that Coach and Sales brought out, or, whatever. So he's always there to kind of form the team, whether I'm leading the huddle that day or not. But yeah, he's moving into that role where the sales are going to be him. I'm going to come to you guys, hire some more sales force, and he's going to be like the sales manager. He's going to be overseeing them, getting a small override off of them, just because I can see that he can take it on. He's willing to, and he's got the experience.
And so is this the first business you've taken to $1 million, or have you had a couple others? Because I knew you said the tubing business was right at about 800. Had you ever gotten business $1 million?
That's when we sold it. I did have a business when you could just literally spend $25 on Google ads and get a massive return before their algorithm started kicking in and charging more and more. We had a power sports business that we did $1 million a year with, but the profit was only about 20%. So quite a bit different here with the numbers we're doing. There's the profit margins there. You got a digital product. There's no tangible materials that you have to buy or huge labor force or whatever. So yeah, this game's new.
Yeah, makes sense. And now, what are you seeing as kind of like the new challenges or questions as you're starting to transition into this sort of new role?
So now we're working with our ads team to scale the ad spend so that the 4 setters that are in place now can max out on what they can take as far as lead flow, and then coming back to you guys to hire another set of advisors, because like I said, right now we're still only at 500 a day in ad spend.
Oh yeah, wow.
The client guys are I think $5,000 a day. So there's so much room for growth. I just don't want to go overboard and then flood these guys. The setters have only been with us for a month, so now they're starting to really get in their groove and do the role, bumping things up into Mike's calendar. But at some point, Mike's going to have too many calls, so we need more advisors in place, and then a group of more setters. So I can see the path. Before, I could not see the path to get me to 100,000 a month, but now I can clearly see 500K a month. And I think that's a baby step from where we are now.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. The target kind of is more like that mil a month, and then there's some other stuff we'd look at with like installing backends and stuff there. But like, yeah, I mean, with your current system, you can bump the 500 just on the simple offer stack you have right now. Then once you add backend and a couple other tricks, like that's where we really go into the big numbers, you know, and we can be doing 800 a mil a month on stuff like that. So, this has been awesome. So if someone wants to go from here and then connect with you, or I know obviously you have your community on Facebook, if they wanted to jump in that community, is that the best place for them to go about connecting with you?
Probably so. BrandonOlson.com is kind of like my digital business card. So they'll find every way to connect with me and hop in groups or look at free trainings or Rank Daddy TV, my podcast. Everything's there, kind of a shortcut.
Easy. BrandonOlson.com. All right. So if you guys want to connect with Brandon, go ahead there. If you want to jump in his group too, obviously he's got some awesome trainings for agency owners over there. So if you're looking to grow your agency, jump in his group, check that out. And Brandon, did you have any last parting words for any listeners today?
If you guys are on the fence, or if you're in the coaching space, or you're looking for sales crew to, someone fill your business with a sales crew about it, like this is just the one of the biggest no-brainer decisions I've made, and why I waited this long to figure it out, I don't know, but here we are. So let's ride the train now.
At least now we know it's possible, so it's only up from here.
Oh gosh. Yep. You just don't know what you don't know.
That's a fact. Awesome. Well, thanks for taking some time joining us today, Brandon. I think the listeners will get a lot out of hearing your journey and the evolution as you went from, freaking getting inner tubers, getting more inner tubers into then now, running $1 million plus coaching business, really a multi-million-dollar at your current pace, and really looking at what that next evolution or scale level is for you. So thanks for taking some time, jumping on, breaking it down with us, and we're excited to see you continue your journey.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Have a good one.
All right, you too. That's it for this week's interview. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy this interview, we do one like it every single week inside of our free Facebook group called 7-Figure Agency Owners and High Ticket Coaches. So if you're an agency owner, coach, service provider, and you're really wanting to scale to 7 figures and beyond, join us inside the group. It's coachingsales.com/group. Again, coachingsales.com/group. See you on the inside.